of my subscribers have contacted me to get my opinion or do a review on the KTM 790. I want to make sure that to all my subscribers that I'm not instrumental in anyone buying one of these bikes and thinking that yes, it comes with all sorts of modern electronic devices, that it's going to improve your ability. This bike still weighs over 200 kilos. I don't know anyone that can lift 200 kilos, so you do not want to have this bike sitting on top of you. And so far I have no oil leaks, so I'm pretty happy about that. I can tell you that it was delivered and the right hand foot peg hasn't fallen off. The rear brake light jamming on. Flicking this front lever and loosening up, pulling the hydraulic lines backwards and forwards. And after a bit of a rough ride last night, took it for a rough ride, the brake light is now working properly. So again, I'm happy with that. As an average rider with average skills, and believe it or not, some of us are, it's a very nice bike to ride. It feels very well balanced to me. I've been able to ride it off on some sandy tracks and things, but I do have in mind, again, like I said, this bike is 200 kilos. I don't want to have it sitting on top of me, and I ride it accordingly. I think the first thing that I would like to do to this bike is get the sign there that says ready to race, because there's no way that I'll be racing it or kidding myself that I will be able to race it. I'd prefer that it says something like get real. The first thing I'm going to do, other than change that sign, is I think I'll remove these. They look pretty ugly and they also get in the way. And the second thing I have found is that the rear passenger mounts also hook up when I'm stepping, so I'd like to lose those, and I will lose those very soon. I think that with this very light bash plate and the very small foot on the side stand, that KTM is trying to tell us something. If you need a bigger bash plate or a wider foot, you are riding the bike in areas that are outside of the design parameters. If you get a flat tyre out the bush and you can plug it, that's fine. But without a centre stand, you're going to be in real trouble. Hopefully somebody will come out with an aftermarket centre stand soon. The decals, like these ones, no problem. Let me get back here, and they're already starting to lift. How could you do that to us, KTM? Anyway, I took it out for a bit of a spin this afternoon, managed to pass a police bike without getting arrested, which is unusual when I'm riding the enduro bike. And put it through a few gentle paces. And as you would expect, even with the standard pressure in the tyres of about 34 pounds, I got enough traction to ride through into the night, check out the headlights. They seem to do a reasonable job, certainly much better than any of the KTM Enduro range. I did find on several occasions it was very easy to hit the kill switch and turns the engine off, and not always the best thing to happen when you're riding in slippery conditions. So I pulled out of the bush and onto the very slippery road. I was in rally mode, and I soon found the back end going wild, sliding all over the place. It sort of caught me out. And I realise now that rally mode is certainly not for the wet road. Mitch got off his 300cc Beta and took the 790 for a ride. And came back and gave us the thumbs up. Anyway, just to recap, last night I got a bit of dirt on the bike. I managed to keep it upright. And I put a bit under 200 kilometres on the clock. And I'm glad to report that the right hand foot peg hasn't cracked out of the engine block yet. and there are no oil leaks so far. I'll be posting more videos as I come to terms with this KTM 790 Adventure R, and assure you that I'm well aware that the biggest limiting factor on the performance of this bike will be me. There's a huge amount of enthusiasm for these bikes out there, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this bike performs in the long term. I probably don't need to do too good a job of cleaning it because it's going to get dirty very soon. There's some very good 790 forums on the internet, and we all keep each other informed on the idiosyncrasies of this particular model.